Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, friends, in the third segment of Revival or Ihya Ulumuddin series. In the first quarter of his work, Imam al-Ghazali focuses on ritual actions that connect individual directly with God. He emphasizes the importance of these practices in one's spiritual journey, and that we have discussed in the second episode of this Revival or Ihya Ulumuddin series in a great length. However, in the second quarter, Rubʿ al-ʿadat, he shifts his focus to actions that happen within a social life and that highlights interactions between individuals. Some of these actions are governed by Islamic law, such as financial transactions that he discussed in the book of the rules of earning a livelihood. Other falls under the realm of etiquettes, as he did or he discussed in the manners of eating. Imam al-Ghazali highlights that while these daily actions are necessary for our material existence, they should not overshadow our ultimate goal of seeking salvation and happiness in the afterlife. Imam al-Ghazali stresses that these daily acts should be approached with the right perspective. While they are essential for our existence or for our physical existence, excessive attention to them can divert us from a spiritual path. However, if performed with the intention of aligning with the path to the afterlife, they can serve as opportunities to integrate our spiritual and worldly obligations. Imam al-Ghazali believes that our bodily appetite, while necessary for our physical well-being, pose the greatest challenge to our spiritual development. He further argues that as long as we are overly consumed by our physical desire, we are unable to fully engage in the spiritual development or a spiritual contemplation of God, which is our ultimate purpose and the means to realize it in the afterlife. And despite the ultimate goal of moderation, Imam al-Ghazali acknowledges that very few individuals ever fully achieve this state. He warns against prematurely assuring disciples of eventual moderation, as it may undermine their determination to resist temptations. Nevertheless, eating is a fundamental aspect of our life and often serves as a significant opportunity for social interactions and fellowship. Imam al-Ghazali commences the second quarter with the manners of eating. In this book, he offers practical advice on dining etiquette and food consumption. Imam al-Ghazali doesn't view eating solely as a burdensome necessity, but acknowledges that it can also lead to the realization of virtues such as fostering companionship with the spiritual brethren. He emphasizes the importance of making guests feel comfortable and at ease during meals, even encouraging them to eat more if necessary to maintain a sense of camaraderie. Imam al-Ghazali also advises against stopping eating before one's guests, as it may make them feel self-conscious or sometimes uncomfortable as well. Ultimately, Imam al-Ghazali underscores or he highlights the idea that correct action depends on circumstances even for ascetics. At certain times, it's okay to enjoy life and spend time with others while still focusing on reaching the afterlife. This shows that balancing our action and spiritual goals requires careful consideration of human behavior and spirituality. In the book Manners of Earning a Livelihood, Imam al-Ghazali talks about how to earn a living in a way similar to how he discussed the spiritual purity in the first part of the book. He explains different levels of goals to consider when making a living or a livelihood. He distinguishes between the legal obligations that all Muslims must fulfill in their professions, virtue acts that go beyond legal mandates, and ways to integrate the pursuit of the livelihood into the path towards spiritual fulfillment. Imam al-Ghazali emphasizes the profound connection between this world and the hereafter, often quoting the saying, "This world is the sowing ground of the hereafter." For those striving to return to the God, their profession becomes a means to this ultimate end, provided it is pursued in accordance with Islamic law and principles. While some individuals are financially supported through religious endowments or dedicated to spiritual pursuits, the majority must engage in earning a living to support themselves and avoid becoming a financial burden on the others. Imam al-Ghazali further asserts that engaging in lawful employment is highly commendable, even more so than a life solely devoted to worship. He supports this assertion by citing numerous sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions, and highlights the importance of the self-reliance and responsible participation in the society as an integral aspect of the Islamic spirituality. For a scholar of the hereafter engaging in a trade, the primary concern is ensuring that all financial transactions are lawful. Much of the manners of earning a livelihood is dedicated to discussing the legal aspects of trading, including what goods can be traded and how to conduct trade in accordance with Islamic law. However, al-Ghazali goes further by urging readers to move beyond mere legality. He asserts that while it is important to be fair in earning money, it is also valuable to go beyond what is strictly required by doing good deeds. Imam al-Ghazali refers to this as ihsan, or an excellence in actions. While justice ensure one's salvation, performing good deeds leads to the additional rewards and ultimate felicity. He suggests that one should not seek excessive profit, but should instead focus on benefiting fellow Muslims in trade. Imam al-Ghazali advises helping the poor by purchasing the goods, avoiding unfair transactions, and being willing to cancel a deal if the other party is dissatisfied. He also encourages extending credits to the needy and being patient in collecting debts. Moreover, Imam al-Ghazali advocates for pursuing a livelihood ultimately for the sake of God, keeping this intention in mind and renewing this intention daily. He emphasizes the importance of finding ways to fulfill religious duties while earning a living. Imam al-Ghazali warns against spending excessive time on one's profession beyond what is necessary to support oneself and one's family, as this distracts from spiritual pursuits and places worldly concern above afterlife. As we have explored the philosophical, practical science that influenced al-Ghazali's science of praxis, wasn't solely focused on the ethical self-improvement, as discussed in the Disciplining the Soul within the third quarter of his work. It also encompassed broader aspects of the household management, that is, we may call economics, and societal organization, that we may say the politics. Imam al-Ghazali's disillusionment with politics, particularly evident in his book The Scale of Action, or the Mizan al-Amal, which led him to prioritize ethics over politics, even omitting political discussion in some instances and connecting ethics and economics to law instead. In the revival of the religious sciences, Imam al-Ghazali distilled the science of praxis to primarily focus on ethics, with some attention to economics, of course, while excluding politics, except for a brief mention of the Caliph's role in relation to the Sultan in chapter 5 of the book 14, the lawful and prohibited. The famous analyst Michael Cook, in this extensive analysis of the evolution of the concept in various Islamic discourses spanning from the inception of Islam to the contemporary era, identifies the treatment of the topic in the revival of the religious science as a pivotal moment. He notes that compared to the previous discussion, Imam al-Ghazali's treatment of the subject is significantly larger in scope, surpassing them by a considerable margin. Michael Cook highlights several unique aspects of al-Ghazali's discourses, but what stands out the most is the comprehensive nature of the injection presented in the revival of the religious sciences. He characterizes it as an ever-expanding responsibility, suggesting that al-Ghazali's approach encompasses a broad spectrum of ethical consideration and duties. He notes every Muslim has the duty of first setting himself to right, and then successively his household, his neighbors, his quarters, his town, surroundings, countryside, the wilderness with its Bedouins, Kurds, whatever, and so on to the uttermost end of the earth. Imam al-Ghazali's profound exploration of the concept of commanding right and forbidding wrong in the revival of the religious sciences emerges from his deep engagement with the philosophy and his growing disillusionment with politics. In his book Scale of Action, or the Mizan al-Amal, he gradually reduces the emphasis on politics, eventually excluding it from his discussion on the practical sciences. And this marks a significant departure from the traditional hierarchy of the practical sciences, where a wise rule ensures just social justice or just social order for individuals to practice religion and cultivate ethical profession. Instead, al-Ghazali poses this is the pious individual who becomes the guarantor of the social order. Having lost confidence in the wisdom and ability of rulers to maintain social order, Imam al-Ghazali seeks a different approach to the political engagement. His conception of the commanding right and forbidding wrong shifts the focus to individual taking ethical responsibility for upholding societal norms. Michael Cook suggests that this discourse on commanding right and forbidding wrong is a unique ethical approach within the Muslim world. Yet, it can also be seen as a continuation of the Aristotelian ideas within the Islamic thought, but with significant changes and adaptation, of course. If al-Ghazali's treatment of this concept set the tone for its subsequent understanding, and if his conception was ultimately Aristotelian, then this unique concept of Islamic discourse represents both a departure from tradition and a continuation of philosophical ideas within the Islamic thought. The final book of the second quarter, Manner of the Living and the Prophetic Morals, fulfills a crucial role in al-Ghazali's work. Instead of providing a detailed recapitulation of the rules and etiquettes covered in the previous 9 books, it presents a composite portrait of a life lived in accordance with Islamic principles exemplified by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, or peace be upon him. Imam al-Ghazali invokes the example of the Prophet, peace be upon him, to validate the regime of ethical self-discipline advocated throughout this quarter of the revival of the religious sciences and the subsequent quarter. He emphasizes that God sought to refine the Prophet's character through the Quran, and that his exemplary conduct serves as the model for humanity, reflecting the primary aim of his prophetic mission. The chapter elaborates on the virtues of the character exhibited by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, focusing on aspects of his daily life and personal traits. It delves into the detail such as his manner of handling food and clothing, as well as his generosity and courage. Moreover, it highlights some of his miracles and signs, highlighting the authenticity of his prophetic mission and reinforcing the central role of prophecy in Islam, as emphasized by Imam al-Ghazali. Dear friends, wrapping up our discussion of the second quarter of al-Ghazali's revival of the religious sciences, we have so far explored the balance between worldly action and spiritual pursuits, from rituals to daily interactions. Imam al-Ghazali emphasizes moderation and intentionality in our conduct. And next, friends, we will delve into the third quarter, where Imam al-Ghazali tackles destructive vices hindering spiritual growth. So join us as we will explore the overcoming these obstacles and nurturing virtuous character on our path to the afterlife. And so until then, may peace and blessings be upon you all. Thank you for watching.